Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle Nichols, and I'd like to welcome you all to our group Soulful Integration session. So welcome to those that are here in person, and welcome to everybody that is watching on the replay. So I normally look at these and see if anybody has anything they want to work on, and if not, we'll just wing it and go from there, because I feel like that flows a lot more naturally and it's kind of fun, and that's how I work when I'm doing a one-on-one session with people. So that being said, so for those of you that are present with us, has there been anything in the last week or month that's really been getting your goat, things that are challenging you, or anything that you would like some work around today?
I will say one thing.
What do you got, Betty?
Um, so lately I discovered this and I just kind of wanted to go a bit more in depth with it of deserving to be taken care of, because I realized that it was something that I wasn't doing, or I wasn't believing or accepting, especially being a woman, being a mom. Like it presented a lot of issues where it felt like it if I was taken care of, I that meant that I was being lazy, or like, in any way. It didn't necessarily mean financially or, just self-care, you know, putting myself first in some ways to be able to take care of like my kids and my family. Like, so I wasn't doing it to the full extent.
This is a great topic, Betty. Um, what do you think, Jamie? You have to work around this topic?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I think this session may end up being a little bit different. So what we'll do is we'll go into the soulful integration session. I'll have everybody just relax and receive, and from a place of love. If you feel inclined to give love as well, feel free, but you don't have to do that. And in lieu of the topic, you can just sit there and totally receive if that's what you'd like to do. But I'm going to leave it open for you to do whatever feels most comfortable, whatever feels in your highest good. And after that, I think we'll probably talk about the topic a little bit, and then we'll do some clearings around the subject. Does that sound good?
Yes.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, Betty and Jamie. So, all right. So I invite everybody to just sit back, relax. Let's take a few deep breaths. And as we're doing this work and you're simply receiving, I would like you to receive from a space of love. Just enjoy that place of feeling totally loved, totally cared for, totally supported. There's no need for you to do anything right now. This is your time. This is your space. And thank you so much for choosing you today. Here we go. All right, everyone. I welcome you to come back so we can start breaking some of this down. So when I started doing the energy work and asking God what we needed to hear, I got a whole bunch of downloads and I'm totally excited about sharing those for you. But what I really think we're talking about when we're talking about the idea of being taken care of, to me, it really feels kind of adjacent to receiving and asking for help in general. So we're going to cover a little bit of that as well. Because this is one of my pet projects. I feel like as women, we don't ask for help enough. We've got this, men have a big strong oak thing where they always need to be sturdy, you know, physically they need to be doing all the thing. But I think specifically for our women out here, we need to feel, we have the societal idea that we need to be the strong ones. We always need to be there emotionally. We need to be the ones that people can be going to. And so we kind of forget, I think, at that point that being this strong emotional figure, sometimes we need that help too. In fact, we often need that help because when we receive that help, when we allow ourselves to do that, then we can serve others even better. So that's my little ramble about that one. So you guys want to get into some downloads and then open up a conversation? All right, so with all these, all you need to do is say yes to receive them. I have some clearing statements we're going to use. And one of them starts out with change what obligates me. And to me, this statement has always seemed a little bit clunky, but I've never found anything better. And the issue is specifically around the word obligates. So when we're talking theta healing, we are talking about the word obligates means you don't have a choice. This choice was taken from you somehow. Doesn't really matter how it was taken, but basically you have to do this thing. So we'll start with a couple of the obligation ones. And if you would like them, again, just say yes. So I'd like to change what obligates us to take care of others. And I'd like to change what obligates us to take care of others at the expense of ourselves. And I would like to change what obligates us to feel like we have to do it all alone. And we'll start with those, and then we'll get into the next set of work. So relax, receive, and say yes if those are the ones that you want. All right, now did that feel like that took effect for you guys? If you'd like to muscle test or feel into your body, either you guys or those listening on the replay, feel free to do so now. All right, let's go ahead and download Creator's definition of what it means to be taken care of. Let's change what prevents us from being taken care of. Let's change what prevents us from receiving love and support. Let's change what prevents us from knowing that we are worthy of being taken care of, just because we're human. Let's change what prevents us from choosing ourselves first. And that one may be a sticking point. So I invite everybody when we're through with the work to go ahead and muscle test to make sure that one took effect, because I know in the past I've reacted to that one myself, and sometimes it takes a little extra work. So we'll check into that. Let's change what prevents us from saying yes to ourselves. Let's change what prevents us from realizing that God wants us to be taken care of. And let's change what prevents us from realizing that God wants us to feel supported. And I think that's way enough work to start right now. So again, I give you guys the option to relax and receive while we work on those downloads, all right? All right, so if you guys would like to muscle test, or if you feel into your body, I'd like you to feel into the statement of, give me a moment to formulate it. I am comfortable with choosing myself first. Good. And I forgot that these two are old hats. So for those of you on the recording that may not know what we're doing, let me do a little explanation here. So when I ask you about muscle testing, which you can look up on a video, and one of these days I'm going to rope Betty into making a video with me just about muscle testing. But anyway, for now, look it up on YouTube. There's all kinds of lovely things. It basically tells you if in your body you believe the statement or you don't. So you say the statement in a positive way, and then you test for a base test for either yes or no, determining your baseline, and then you say the question aloud, and then you muscle test. So this lets us know if the work that we're doing in this healing is actually taking effect, because we can change our beliefs instantaneously. And then later it's our job to go ahead and put ourselves in alignment with those beliefs and escort out any thoughts or behaviors that aren't consistent with the work that we're doing. So that's really what we're doing. And that's really where your guys' work is going to be lying later on. Do you guys have any questions about that, or are you guys on point so far? All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit more. I'm going to have some more downloads for you, and then I'm going to challenge you guys so we can open up a bit of a conversation about this. So I'd like to change what prevents us from feeling loved and supported. I'd like to change what prevents us from taking care of others in a way that feels good to us. I'd like to change what prevents us from receiving in general. I'd like to change what prevents us from feeling worthy to receive. I'd like to change what prevents us from realizing that support is always available to us. I'd like to change what prevents us from asking for help. And one more, change what obligates us. I'd like to change what obligates us to feel weak because we want to be taken care of. All right, so let's do all of those ones. All right, as a check-in, how are you guys feeling? Good, awesome. So just a couple of more. Let's go ahead and forgive ourselves for not asking for help. And let's go ahead and forgive others for not stepping up to help. And we're going to round out this bit of work by removing some free-floating memories from the original event. So this means patterns that may be being expressed in our lives and societal lives, past lives, the whole thing. We're going to do a couple of those to finish it out, and then we'll open up the conversation. So I'd like to remove the free-floating memories from the original event of not feeling taken care of. And I'd like to remove the free-floating memories from the original event of negative reactions from others for us wanting to be taken care of. All right, we'll finish up with this work. Give me a second, you guys. All right, so now I invite you guys to turn your microphones on because I'd love to have a conversation with you. What I found by doing these group sessions, this is the second group session I've done, is God gives me some very broad statements because we're going to be hitting a lot of different people. It's not just one person. So we're not necessarily going as deep as I would love to go and as I tend to go when we're doing a one-on-one session. So now, what have I missed? What kind of work would be really beneficial for you that, or is there something that pops in your head that you think other people would like, that you'd like me to do some work around?
For me, what came to me was forgiving ourselves for resenting like others or ourselves, like for that action of not speaking out that we want to be taken care of, or the reaction of others of when we ask to be taken care of from others, like feeling that resent in a way, like that non-forgiveness of whatever interaction happened, whether we wanted it and we didn't know how to ask for it properly, or we weren't clear in asking of how we wanted to be taken care of, because sometimes we are taken care of, but we don't always express it exactly how we want, you know what I mean, like our preference on wanting to be taken care of, especially when it comes to family. like, this is how I, I want, for example, when I ask my husband, like, I want alone time, it's like, I want you to take the kids and go out of the house. Like, unless I go out of the house, like, I want alone time in that sense, not like the kids and you are in the living room and I'm in the room, or, you know what I mean? Like, not like that. Like, sometimes I have to be more specific than other times. And it's like, oh, why didn't you read my mind? But, it's that type of, mm, not sure if I'm phrasing it correctly, just resenting the outcome of us asking for something, whether specifically when it comes down to not being clear, like for us not asking clearly what we were needing.
Okay, so that sounds like forgive ourselves for not clearly asking for what we need.
Yeah.
And it kind of sounds like forgive ourselves for resenting others for not giving us what we needed when we didn't know how to ask for it. And it sounded like forgiving others for not being able to give us what we needed when we couldn't figure out how to ask for it.
Okay, that sounded about the same thing. So I'm working on
Okay.
a statement that will
Well, one
accompany
was
it.
for us and one was for others. So, but yes, I was trying to get my thoughts together and I got a little like lost.
No, absolutely. This is totally the process. We get lost, we go a little bit deeper, we, clarify a little bit. So okay, so from out of that conversation, I'd like to add forgive ourselves or forgive others for not reading our minds. Forgive ourselves for not clearly asking for what we want. Forgive others for not giving us what we need when we don't know how to ask, which is a little bit clunky, but God will take care of it. Don't even worry about that. And then the other thing that popped into my mind there is, how about we forgive ourselves for not knowing what we need?
Yes.
All right, we'll do those ones. Okay. And so then I'm told that we need change what prevents us from knowing what we need. And we'll work on that in a little bit. But one thing I want to talk about is I know that in doing work for myself, I have a heck of a time sometimes. Sometimes I'm feeling really stuck and really lost. And I can do it, but I think we have this tendency to forget that we have plenty of people out there to support us. We have paid programs, we've got friends, we've got family, we've got accountability books, we've got groups, we've got intuition. We have so many methods for helping us. But the key here is we really just need to remember that that support is available. So how about we change what prevents us from remembering that the support is available? And let's, well, one of the things I used to always have a hard time with in this realm of things is just knowing how to ask. So let's change what prevents us from knowing how to make an effective ask. By the way, practice. All right, so if you want those few things, just say yes.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so a question came up for me for you, Betty. Are you experiencing any difficulties around having a conversation with members of your family about, like, okay, so you're clear on what you want to ask. Do you have any hiccup between knowing what you want to ask and making the ask of members of your family?
No.
Okay. All right. So once you know what you need, you're perfectly fine and you don't feel weird about asking, or you don't have any sort of issues in general around that ask, correct?
Yeah, I do take a good few minutes before I ask to know how to ask, like in a way that's polite, not, not coming off,
Sure.
I need this. So, yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. And what about you, Jamie? Do you have any hiccups between creating the ask and then actually getting the clarity around the ask and then creating the ask? Is there anything there that's trips you up?
Yeah, actually making the ask. Sometimes I just still have so much trouble asking for things that I need, depending on the relationship or the person. You know what I mean? Like I think I can ask my husband for things. That's not a problem.
Okay.
And good friends, that's not a problem. Sometimes it's still really hard for me to ask like my parents or my boss. Maybe it's an authority thing,
Okay.
you
That
know?
wasn't what I was expecting to come out, but yeah, I think sometimes I have an issue asking people of authority things as well. So let's change what prevents us from asking what we need from people that have more authority than us.
It's more like when it's somebody that is really close to you, like your husband or your friends or somebody, there's more comfort, you feel more assured that yes, they're going to care about you enough to figure out how to help you. But when it's like my parents, well, you know how that goes, or like my boss or something, it feels more like my concerns aren't their first concerns.
Well,
And so
unfortunately, in a
like,
lot of cases, I think you're right. I think
and so
their
that
concerns,
ask is
their concerns are for them, your concerns are for you. You're on a secondary level.
right. So that ask becomes more difficult because you don't feel, I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say, but anyways, I think you understand.
I do. Okay. So
I guess it's harder to ask for things for people that don't have your needs as a priority, or that you don't perceive have your needs as a priority.
okay, but let's delve into this a little bit more. Let's go a little bit deeper. So
Okay,
when you're thinking of these asks, think of like the past couple asks you've made to say your
sure,
parents or your boss. Has it
sure.
been something that would be a lot of skin off their nose? Has it been something that would be would it be very difficult for them? Because I think that's
No,
an issue.
no,
Okay.
no. I don't generally ask for anything that, would be difficult or going out of their way, but making that ask is still difficult for me, even though it's like just asking for a little thing, like asking to adjust my schedule or to take a day off or something. Even though I know that my boss is going to say, you got to leave, go for it, I still have trouble asking for it.
Okay. I'm all right. I've run into this too myself. Okay, so I'm getting that, like with
Oh,
work, is to feel.
Betty's got her finger up over
Go
there.
ahead, Betty. Let's do it.
Do you feel it's like you're gonna bother them in a way, like a bit of like, oh, I don't want to bother you, but can I have this, or can you do this for me?
Yeah, yeah, there's definitely that.
Okay, so how about we change what prevents us from asking when we perceive it may be inconvenient?
Oh, there you go. Hmm.
Okay.
How about something around, well, if I may add,
No, absolutely.
something around changing what obligates us to feel, I don't have the complete statement. I'm just
Talk it out. We'll get the statement.
to feel like every time we ask, we are bothering someone else. Or like what did you used a word?
Being inconvenient.
Yeah. Like our ask has to be inconvenient to someone else. Like change
Okay,
what
so
obligates.
we'll change what obligates our ask to be inconvenient.
Yeah.
To other people. I love how these things kind of grow and change and shift as we move it. And since we're going to have some other people watching the replay, one thing I know I've struggled with is I've had a heck of a time, even though I have paid time off and I have paid sick leave, I feel there's a societal thing and I feel bad about taking the time off. So let's, while we got it, remove the free floating memories from the original event about being treated negatively when we've taken our time off that belongs to us.
Yeah. I had something I wanted to add, but it's kind of like floated away.
Okay, if it comes back, we can add it.
Mhm. Oh, I got it.
Yep.
It's back to that idea of inconvenience. So we wanted to change what obligates us to, or what like makes our asks inconvenient, right? But like, what about changing the idea that our boss or whoever wouldn't go out of their way and do something inconvenient to help us? Does that make
Okay.
sense?
It does, and that's going to take a little bit. Okay, so we need to change what prevents us. No, I don't quite have it. Because when we're doing this, we're never focusing on the other person. We're never changing our boss. We're never changing our parents. We're changing our perception. So that's what I'm formulating as a statement for us. So,
Okay.
oh, let's change what prevents us from realizing that sometimes people want to go out of their way for us.
Yes, that's it. That's where I was trying to get to. Thank you.
That's a really good one. Okay, so for this round, I invite you guys to say yes to the following. Change what prevents us from asking when we perceive it may be inconvenient. Change what obligates our ask from being inconvenient. Remove the free-floating memories from the original event of being treated negatively when we take time off that we're owed. And changing what prevents us from realizing that sometimes people want to go out of their way for us. Say yes to all those that you would like. All right. And as we come back, I have one more for those of us that work and receive benefits. So I want us to change what prevents us from realizing that our paid time off is part of our compensation package. These are things that we are owed. Do you guys have anything else you want to add at this point? Or should we just do that one and then see what's next?
I had one more, forgive ourselves and like remove the free floating memories from obviously the original event, of being not just for necessarily work. I mean, yes, it's important, but like anytime we've asked and we've felt we've been treated to feel guilty for asking anything,
Okay.
whether that was like ice cream or whatever it was. And any time after.
Remove fleeting memories from the original event. I'm just going to say feeling guilty for the ask. Because here's the thing, people try, I'm not going to deny it. We have people in our lives that are going to try to guilt trip us, and that's on them. That's where they're at. But they cannot make us feel guilty. Unfortunately, we have to accept that guilt. And we only take part of that guilt if we feel that little bit of truth. So that's really where the work lies around guilt. Believe me, I know this is a huge one for me. So it's looking at the situation and saying, okay, yeah, okay, they said this, they were trying to make me feel guilty. Either A, it completely doesn't work, or B, maybe there's a little bit of truth to that. And if there's a little bit of truth to that, your next question, by the way, is that even reasonable? I mean, are you taking on somebody else's stuff when you don't need to? So powerful, powerful question to ask yourself. And thank you for bringing that up, Betty. So how about we do our forgiveness around allowing ourselves to feel guilty? And since, and I'll have one more clearing statement for you. Since guilt is such a huge thing in our society, things that we struggle with, let's throw in my little truncated statement from Access Consciousness. And we are going to, okay, I'm feeling like a dork because I totally forgot it. Anyway, so we are going to, Jamie, help me out here because I'm floundering. We're removing from time, space.
Oh yeah. Destroy and uncreate.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. So we are going to destroy and uncreate across all time, space, dimension, and reality where we felt guilty. If you guys want all that work, just say yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, we got that. How are you guys feeling?
Good.
And I just want to point out that last thing. So I totally forgot what I was going to say. Somebody had my back. So that was a direct concept of people being able to support us. So I'm just going to toss that out there because it totally works for what I was saying. All right. So Betty, you formulated this ask. Is there anything else that we've missed that you would like to address? Is there anything we've missed to help you out with the question that you had today?
No, I think that covers. I mean, I know I asked from a like woman, mother, family perspective, and just thinking, I think those statements also cover people who are not in the same situation I am.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. I mean, there were a couple gender ones that I did, but for the most part, no, it's totally a universal issue. Men as well as women have it, everybody has the issue of, or has had the issue. There are some of us that have done a lot of work around this and, maybe a little bit better off, but yeah, totally asking for what you need and receiving what you need, allowing to receive what you need, feeling worthy for what you need. These are huge issues that I think pretty much everyone struggles with at least some point in your life. We'll just leave it like that.
Definitely.
So that being said, I invite you guys again to sit back and receive, and we will do a little bit more energy work. And if I receive some more statements at the end, then we'll go ahead and do them. And if not, we'll wrap up and it'll be real nice and gentle. All right, here we go. Hmm. All right, you guys, that feels good. I have a couple more that I'd like to wrap up with, and then we'll see what happens. So let's change what prevents us from realizing that people want to support us. Let's change what prevents us from realizing that other people are able to say no to our asks. let's change what obligates us to say yes when an ask doesn't feel good to us. And let's change what prevents us from saying no when an ask doesn't feel good. All right, so we'll round out with that. And I want to leave you guys with a little tip around asking. This is probably my absolutely favorite tip about asking. When I'm formulating an ask that I know somebody may feel a little bit iffy on, I change up my wording a little bit. So most of the time I'll be like, for an example, I might say, hey, Rachel, do you want to do the cat litter? And Rachel is not going to want to do the cat litter. However, when I ask Rachel to do the cat litter these days, I say, hey, Rachel, are you willing to do the cat litter? This little change in a word really gives us a lot of power because, again, like I said, Rachel's not going to want to do the cat litter, but it might be something that she's willing to do for whatever reason. For example, because people want to support us. Do you guys have anything else that you would like to add? All right, well, I'd like to conclude by telling you guys what's coming up next. So next week, it is the 26th of March at 2 o'clock. We will be doing a presentation with Shirley Joy Jaffe, and she will be talking about the joyfulness of abundance. I hope I got that right because I'm not reading it. But anyway, it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be a great presentation. And the other thing is starting April 1st, I am launching a program that will allow you to choose a project that you want to do, get some action going, and do it. This is a 3-month program to help get you out if you're feeling stuck. So if you'd like more information, you can check that out on my webpage as well. But thank you so much for tuning in. And I'm really thank you guys for being live. And thanks to everybody that's catching the replay.
Thank you.
Thank you.